The LG V20 user here, and today I'm doing a video on the Motorola One Power. So I'm on AndroidHeadlines.com here. So this is what the Motorola One Power looks like. In my opinion, it looks like the iPhone X, except for this runs Android, obviously. The back of it looks like the iPhone X. The front of it looks like the iPhone X. And so yeah, let's go check out this phone. Says meet the Motorola One Power with Android One, bezel-less display, and notch. So yeah. It says the Motorola One Power brings with it dual cameras, a bezel-less display, a notch, and the return of the Motorola branding. Alright. Here's the first look at a new upcoming smartphone from Motorola, the Motorola One Power. Not only this is the first look, but as far as Android headlines is concerned, this is the first time this phone has been reported on in general. Both the official render and the limited information provided here have been shared with Android headlines by a reliable source. Alright. The return of Motorola. So what is the Motorola One Power? Well, firstly, it is important to note that the logo shown above does look to confirm this is the Motorola One Power and may arrive stylized as the Motorola One Power. This is important as it seems this device is going to arrive branded as a Motorola phone and not as a Moto phone, making it a return of the Motorola branding after what has seemed like a very long hiatus. After all, it was not long after Google purchased Motorola that the brand started to adapt a simplified approach, which also translated to its product naming structure, resulting in a number of different tiered devices coming through branded as Moto, Phone, Samsung, and even after Lenovo picked up Motorola, the branding continued a bit with a slight adjustment to Moto by Lenovo, along with Lenovo's intention to phase out the Motorola name completely. More recently, however, Lenovo announced it had changed its mind and now doing away with the Moto by Lenovo branding in favor of returning to the Motorola name. Now, after reverting back to the use of Motorola Moto, it seems this phone is going to debut without the Moto moniker. It will just be a Motorola phone. Alright. Motorola continues to invest in Android One. So this Motorola One Power is Android One. While the name seems to be changing, one aspect that is not is Motorola's commitment to Android One, as the Motorola One Power will come running on Android One. This follows on from the Moto X4, which was not only an Android One powered smartphone, but was the first Android One smartphone announced for the release in the US. And this is another trait that is now being carried over to the Motorola One Power, as Android Headlines understands this phone is set for a US release. So while this is very interesting, it very well may also be available in other countries, although the full list of its target markets remain unknown at present. All that is known is that it will make its way to the US along with Android One. Motorola embraces the notch. It seems highly likely that this will be the first Motorola phone to come equipped with a notch. This is a trend that has been embraced by a significant number of high-profile Android phone manufacturers over the last year, and Motorola is now no different. Looking at the display of the upcoming device, it is clear that the Motorola One Power is going as bezel-less as it can. The Motorola One Power not only sports the same type of edge-to-edge display found on the recent Moto G6, but ups the amount of screen real estate available at the bottom. The Motorola branding still appears on what's left of the chin, but that's about it. The branding more squeezed in between the display and the bottom of the phone. These design choices coupled with the notch result in one of the most bezel-free devices to come from the house of Motorola to date. A familiar design, but different. Speaking of the Moto G6, the overall design of the Motorola One Power seems to be very similar, although it comes with more display and a screen cutout. The front panel overall is almost a direct replica of the Moto G6, even down to the replacement of the front-facing camera and flash. Likewise, the back of the phone is also reminiscent of the Moto G6 as it keeps the same M Batwing logo, which also likely includes the fingerprint sensor. However, compared to the Moto G6, the Moto One X Power includes dual camera setup. The exact specifications of the system is unknown, but dual cameras are in effect just like the Moto Z3 Play, which is being announced very soon. However, unlike the Moto Z3 Play, the Motorola One Power dual camera setup is different. This is evident by the replacement, as it widely expected the Moto Z3 Play will adapt a camera module identical to the G6. Other than with the inclusion of the extra sensor, the Motorola One Power, on the other hand, will adapt a completely different camera setup, which seems the module placed in the upper left corner of the device, not dissimilar to the iPhone camera replacement, as well as a number of Android phones that have looked to emulate the iPhone design, with Motorola now looking to join that group. Is this a repackaged Moto X5? Maybe. At this point, it is worth mentioning that the Moto X5, as this was a device that was leaked fairly heavily back in January with imagery that also highlighted a phone along with the notch and dual rear cameras. Since then, additional reports have come through suggesting Motorola Lenovo no longer plan on releasing the Moto X5. So, I guess the Moto X5 has been scrapped, but this could be a repackaged version, which may lead to some to wonder whether this is that phone, but repackaged differently. It would seem that it is not the case, as there are some fairly noticeable differences between this and the leaked Moto X5, which obviously is the rear camera department. The Motorola adoption of the iPhone S camera module placement compared to the Moto X4's horizontal Z3 Play layout. Likewise, the Moto X5 image only suggests a notch might be in use due to the configuration of the top portion of the display, unlike this image, which clearly is pushing the notch as one of the main design points. There are differences too, which further suggests that the two phones are unrelated as any two lines from Motorola. Summary-wise, this is the first time the Motorola One Power has been reported on. The image provides thus paint a very clear picture of what the phone would look like and offer, including the employment of Android One, dual camera setup, a more display-heavy front panel, and a notch. However, the specs still remain unknown, and therefore it will be unclear where this phone will be positioned when it arrives. By association, it's also unclear how much it will cost when it does arrive. Even the timing of its arrival remains an unknown. There are suggestions the Moto Z3 Play will make its debut on June 6th. if that's the case, there is also a chance this phone could debut at the same event. However, this is being marketed as a Motorola phone, not a Moto phone. It could end up launching separately, especially if the plan is for it to debut in the US. So, this Motorola One Power smartphone, we don't know much about it. We don't know the specs on it. We do know it looks like the fucking iPhone 10. In my opinion, it looks like the fucking iPhone 10. It looks like the iPhone 10 on Android. I think this will have Android Audio on board. So that's nice. It does have a fucking big ass notch. The camera setup on back is dual cameras. It has the iPhone X camera setup. It has a fingerprint sensor in the back. Has your Motorola One branding, I think, at the bottom. I think. Has your charging port and shit at the bottom. This phone looks, looks interesting enough. It has the Motorola clock on there, which I'm a big fan of that. So what do you guys think about this phone? Would you guys get it? I don't know what the specs are. This is just like leaked information of the Moto One Power. I think it's going to have Oreo. I think it's going to have like it's going to be Android One, obviously. So it's going to have Android Oreo. So it's going to be like a mid-range phone. I think it's going to be mid-range because it has Android One. So it's going to be mid-range phone probably, because the Android One phones, they're like mid-range or whatever. Android Go is a lower end version of that. So this could be a mid-range phone. This could be a rebranded. This could be a repackaged Moto X5. There might not be a Moto X5. This might be the repackaged version of that. What do you guys think about the phone? You guys like the phone? You guys don't like the phone? Keep in mind these are like first pictures of the phone, like leaks and shit. I don't know when this phone would get announced. Just the Moto Z3 Play supposed to get announced on June 6th, something like that. So next week or on that. So we will have to wait and see when this phone gets announced. So we will have to wait and see about that. We don't know much about the phone. We know that it runs Android One, so it'll probably have Oreo on board. So I have dual camera setup, so I have a notch and all that shit. So, and I think it has a front-facing camera flash too, if I'm not mistaken. But the specs on the phone are a mystery at this point. But I think it's gonna be a mid-range phone because it has Android One on there. So, what do you guys think about this phone? Keep in mind, this is like the first pictures of it. This is not an official announcement of the phone. It should be coming later. Don't know when. So, yeah, that's all. I guess that's pretty much it, y'all. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, guys. It really helps me out a lot. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching my video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.